What do you want to get out of this scrimmage with Alabama?
Yeah, I think first and foremost for me to coach my first, it's not a real game, but it's going to feel like a real game, and I'm excited for it. I'm looking forward to it, and honestly, I'm looking forward to making some mistakes so that I can get better. And that's why I told our players and our staff, like, this is a great opportunity in the midst of our training camp and preseason to improve. You're going against a great opponent in Alabama, and they've been, a perennial top 10, top 15, Elite 8, Final Fours, top in the SEC team over the past handful of years. And so it's going to feel real, and it'll be a good measuring stick for us to go out there and compete, work on the things we've been working on, and obviously go from there and get better.
You've talked in the past of wanting to play kind of like Nate does in the sense of offensively. Is there a degree of that's why you're playing this game, or did it just work out that way?
No, we honestly, we were supposed to play Auburn, and I told you guys I want to play all the Final Four teams. They couldn't get us on the schedule for regular season, so we were supposed to play Auburn in this event. And then something happened with the ACC SEC Challenge and Alabama's opponent, and so we flipped with Auburn and ended up with Alabama, which the same thing. It's a similar opponent in the sense that they're a top team. It's really going to test us, and it's an opportunity for us to improve. Obviously, I have a ton of respect for what Nate's done in college basketball. He's popped in over the years on some NBA training camps, and he's hired a lot of NBA guys, some of which I'm very close with over the last few years. Brian Pannone being one of them. We grew up together. He's the head coach now at Arkansas State, but he runs an NBA style in college, and so to me it's a little bit of a proof of concept. Their style of play is obviously very successful. It's very hard to guard offensively, and then obviously defensively, when they guard, it's almost impossible to beat them. And so it's a great opportunity for us to not only see it and guard it up close and personal. I told our guys in film this morning, a lot of their film looks like the way we play, right? We want to constantly put stress on the defense with how we attack and how we touch the paint. And then the freedom of shooting, even if it's early in the clock. If you're open, that's going to be the best shot, and we're taking it every time. So it's going to be fun to play a different opponent, but it's a very similar style of what we're putting in here.
What do you just see the guys learn, like in that setting, in that environment? You talk about being your first game, but it's the first time for all of them to play together, kind of a competitive sense.
Yeah, I think it doesn't matter who the opponent is, and doesn't matter what time of the year it is. We're looking to do some things every game, and first of all, that's a level of competitiveness, right? Of communication on the court, of grittiness, and then, like I said, of style of play. We want to be one of the fastest, if not one of the fastest team in the country. We want to shoot efficient shots on offense. We want to get to the paint. We want to generate free throws. We want to generate kick-out threes that are catch-and-shoot opportunities, not the dribble. Those things, it doesn't matter who the opponent is. That's us, right? So it's going to be, to me, a good opportunity, instead of beating up on each other, to go face an opponent that, quite frankly, and for a lot of us, this roster is completely different. And so, we're going through our scout this morning to start prepping for Alabama. They don't have a ton of guys coming back from those teams, but knowing Nate, he's going to play a certain style no matter who's on the roster, right? And so, in terms of what we're trying to learn, it's more about us and less about Alabama. Okay, we're pretty good in this area, and we have a long way to go in these two areas, right? And that's the fun part about having a lengthy preseason in college.
Does it come at a perfect time in that regard, in the sense of kind of reinforcing what you have done well versus what we got to get better at?
Yeah, and yes, the timing wise, I wish we could have played a game 2 weeks ago, right? And that's probably the NBA side of, like, you don't have these long preseasons where you only have 2 games and 40 some days. Like NBA, you got basically a week of training camp, and you're right into preseason games and right into regular season. You're playing 4 games a week, right? And so this, for me, I'm eager to get out in a game environment. We've had a couple scrimmages, some closed doors, some we had some guests in, and to me, this is an extension of that, where after every one of those scrimmages, and we have our coaches meeting and break down the film, there are things we're really pleased with that we feel like oh, this could actually really be good, and allow us to compete at the national level. And then there's things that are a little frightening, and some things that, okay, we got a ways to go. We got to drill that more. We got to execute that. We got to walk. We got to teach it a little bit better. But in all those areas, this is an extension of that, where now you see it against another opponent, and every play they don't know what's coming, and vice versa, right? Here we can take ourselves out of a lot of things just because guys know each other. They know what we're running. They know the calls. Now it's a little bit different, right? And so I think the coaches are as excited as the players to get out there and play against someone else so that we can keep correcting those things.
It would be a lot easier to be at home in your first exhibition, but did you choose that intentionally to be a challenge, to play a top, they're ranked 15th?
Yeah.
I mean, essentially a home game for them. I mean, did you intentionally want that road atmosphere?
Yeah, they're ranked 15th. I think we're ranked 96th. I think we're last in the ACC right now by these preseason rankings, and I think we're last in Power 4 basketball, which to me excites me. You know, I told our guys, no one believes in you, and no one believes in me. I'm a first-time head coach, first-time coaching in college, and you guys, for the most part, are a lot of mid-major guys that haven't proven yourselves at this level. And so it's a great opportunity. I think I told you guys, and if not, I'm going to tell you right now, I'll never run from a challenge. And I would much rather face the hardest teams in the country and know where I stand going into conference play than to have cupcakes where you're comfortable and you blow teams out and you don't really get tested. And then you face some real teams, and it's like shocking how far you have to go, right? I would always rather flip it, number one, because I'm competitive and I want to see what the best looks like, right? But number two, I just think it's far more, in terms of the growth of your team, it's much more advantageous to play those tough teams early on and see what you got and see what you need to work on. And so, yeah, most coaches and some guys on our staff included suggested that, not only for preseason, but for being a first-time head coach, like just ease your way into it. And to me, like, what's the worst that happens, right? You get blown out and it's embarrassing. Well, yeah, let's get better, right? Let's come in and work on what we need to, both as coaches and players. And at least now we have a measuring stick of, yeah, that's what a great organization and a great team and a great coach looks like. We got some room to grow.